welcome back to another episode of Behind the Lava Lava, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes featuring veterans, the people and cultures of the Pacific, and small businesses. I'm your host, Michael Tan. But before we get straight into it, a quick reminder to our listeners to follow, subscribe, and leave a review if you enjoy the show. Now, today we will be talking with Eduardo Marquez, owner of Mortal Triumph. Talofa and hello, Eduardo.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon.
Now, Eduardo, can you briefly talk about your background, where you're from?
Sure. So my name's Eduardo. I usually go by Eddie. That's what all my friends call me. I'm originally from California. I'm 28 years old. I've been here in Utah for the last 4 years. I've traveled a lot extensively just through work. But, since I moved here through the military, I was in Korea before I came here, in Texas and Florida. So I've just kind of been all over the place. But I'm excited to call it home here. So we've been here, my wife and I, about 4.5 years, and we really like it here. It was really funny to have the transition from beach people to mountain people. It was like a slow transition, but I think we're all the way there now. Just don't count on me skiing, though. We're not there yet. But a little bit of my background. I have a degree in criminology. I have an MBA. I'm a veteran, and I was a bomb technician in the military. So I did that for about 6 years. And I recently transitioned out of the military last year, and then I started Mortal Triumph.
No, appreciate your service. So during your time in the military, what do you recall, or what was your favorite memory of being in the military?
Well, being in the military is definitely a unique experience. And I think a lot of it has to do with the job that you do in the military. When I joined the military, I made it a point to pick a job that I was probably never going to be able to do ever again. So, defusing bombs, being a bomb technician, that's something that really drew my attention. Like, hey, I might not be able to do that again. So let's just go for it. And I think one of the coolest things about that was not so much, the actual stuff that I was doing or stuff that I was seeing, just being around some really like-minded individuals, because I think it takes a certain personality to want to do that. So just being around a lot of people that were like me, that thought the same way I did, was really fascinating, because we all look different. We all have different cultures, different backgrounds, different ages, but down to the core, we all thought the same way. We all operated based off intent. We all, had a little bit of a type A personality. Everyone was always trying to outdo each other, a lot of friendly competition. And just overall, being around such a good group of people that were, just on that, had a different mindset, I think was the coolest part.
So your job in the military was very dangerous, right? So how did you overcome that mindset when you first were going into it? You were thinking, oh, I'm applied to be in explosives, ordnance. How did you overcome that mindset to actually go into that job? Because when I was looking at the bonuses for the Marines with that kind of job, man, they were racking in a lot of money doing that job. Well, how did you go about doing that?
Sure. It's actually very simple. You just learn to kind of distance yourself. You compartmentalize, you disassociate from the actual problem, I would say, which has a lot of negative consequences in the long run. And I have a lot of healing to do, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, I mean, let me give you an example. If me and a team are clearing an area of explosives, the first thing in my head isn't, oh, I might die, or this is dangerous. It's, I don't want to look like an idiot, or I need to make sure I'm doing everything right so that this guy doesn't die. Or what's the best way to do this? What's the fastest way that I can do this so I can get out of here? So, like I said, we're not really focused on the danger. we're more focused on the intent. And the EOD, explosive ordnance disposal mantra, I think sums it up really well. And that's initial success or total failure. So you either get it right or it's just not your problem anymore.
Now, what made you come to Utah, and what aspects of Utah do you enjoy the most?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so the military brought me here, and funny enough, I had no idea where Salt Lake City was. Before I came here, I had no idea where Utah was. I was born and raised in California, and that was my home. But I gotta say, it's beautiful here. I look outside and there's mountains, and every weekend I'm out there, I'm climbing. I'm just outside. I think this is the most sun I've ever gotten. Is just living here in Utah. I used to be more of a homebody, but yeah, Utah is awesome. The people are great. I just think overall it's a great state, and I think it's kind of a hidden gem. It's probably why a lot of people are moving here, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about Utah is the allergies that you get maybe twice a year, and the cold. But now let's talk about your business and what services you offer with your company.
Sure. So Mortal Triumph is a lifestyle and fitness apparel brand that it kind of cultivated. It stemmed from the mindset that I've developed over the last 28 years of my life through all of the experiences. And I've been through a lot of there's been a lot of death in my life. My parents passed away when I was really young. My mom died when I was 10. My dad died when I was 11. And I went to college and I dealt with that for years, and then I joined the military. And the job that I was doing was kind of dangerous, and people die in the military. And so I was just exposed to a very different way of thinking about death, and that blossomed into this idea that, hey, when you die, you reach triumph. So it's those actions that you do while you're alive that get you there. So, and that's earned through sacrifice. In order to achieve mortal triumph, you have to earn it through sacrifice. My parents did it. Fellow comrades, in the service did it. Their names are up on the wall, and that name up on the wall means something. They earned their crown in the afterlife. So mortal triumph, albeit is just, it's apparel, right? But these messages are very unique and they're very individual because they're messages that got me through my problems. And I'm hoping that they do the same for somebody else. When you wear Mortal Triumph, it's more of a statement of, hey, I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm going to die one day. But until I die, I'm going to put in the work, I'm going to sacrifice, and I'm going to let my actions speak for themselves. And I'm going to live up to my values up until the end, because, the legacy is really what matters. And it's really all that's left. So, what else are we going to work towards? And, it's a little bit morbid, and I can go on forever about this, but it's very personal, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, that, what is the purpose of life? Well, I think that it's to earn it, to earn your life until you die. So that's Mortal Triumph in a nutshell.
So legacy is one of the reasons why we want to start a business, so that things can be passed down or people can remember us. But why the apparel business? You've gotten into an industry that's very competitive. Why be in clothing?
Sure. My target customer, especially starting out, is a lot of these military members that I've worked with, and there was just a huge need for explosive ordnance disposal technicians to have a brand that really represented how we thought. And I was absolutely okay with taking that opportunity and jumping at that to make it happen. So the apparel that we offer it's in military colors, has some of these military inspired messages. So a service member could, wear it under their uniform. And then, when it's time to work out, when it's time to get after it, when it's time to earn your crown, when it's time to, achieve triumph, it's very easy. You already have your gear on, you can move forward. And I just think it was a very easy and very relatable way of, just kind of reflecting the messages that we're about.
At American United, we help when others won't. If you're in Utah and need a second chance at banking, they've got your back. They offer everything from business to personal banking to online services, credit, coaching, and financial mentoring. And they do it all with lower fees, higher dividends, and exclusive member rewards.
American United takes pride in helping their members succeed. Whether you need an auto loan, a credit card, or a retirement account, they have the perfect fit for your lifestyle. Plus, they show their appreciation for our veterans with special VA programs for those who have served in the U.S. military. And here's something really special. American United is the proud title sponsor of the annual Pacific Island Veterans Day Dinner Gala, demonstrating their commitment to our community and our heroes.
So whether you're buying your first house or planning your retirement, let American United Federal Credit Union be there for you. They're all about celebrating life's achievements, big and small. Remember, we help when others won't. Visit amucu.org to learn more and become a member today.
Yeah, and what would you say so far is one of the biggest challenges that you faced as a business owner, especially when you try to push out your apparel?
Yeah, I mean, being a business owner it's something else. I'm not very experienced yet. I've only been doing this for a little less than a year, and I think the hardest part is that you just don't know what you don't know. And so you have to really make an effort to take the time, to schedule out some time once a week, a couple hours to either network, kind of how we're doing now. I'm learning something from you as I speak to you, or to read an article or to try something out, do an A/B test or something. But you really have to take the time to hone your skills and just to see what you can be better at. Because I'll never know what I don't know until I start trying new things. And I think that's been very difficult, especially in the beginning of my business launch. I had an entire trademark issue that I had to deal with. And I had no idea about any of that stuff. And you have to figure it out. That's kind of the name of the game. It's part of the charm, just figuring out the solutions to the problems. But yeah, the unknown aspect, I think, is the hardest about running a business.
A lot of people don't realize the importance of networking. For me personally, through networking, I'm able to get the word out there with our podcast media platform, and especially on our nonprofit side, we've been able to gather support with our foundation. So people, they don't take the time to network because they're so busy trying to sell, but they don't realize that one of the things that will help them sell is building and establishing relationships with others. It doesn't have to be other business owners, but those who can help support your vision and your mission.
Yeah, and I love that you pointed that out, because it leads into kind of a framework for thought, especially for a successful business owner, where you have three levels. At the lowest level, you're dependent on someone else for something, and that's where a lot of people fail, from the get-go. And then in the middle, you have independent, right? So, if I'm independent, I do everything myself, and, it's only ever going to be as good as what I know or don't know. And now what you're talking about, the networking piece, which is extremely important, which is in fact how we met, that's the level of interdependency, where you have to think in a way where me and other people can achieve so much more together instead of me by myself. And it's such a beautiful thing, because it's so true. You can't do everything yourself. You can try, but it's only going to ever be as good as what you can or can't do. So that interdependency through networking, I think, is key. And I think you highlighted it really well.
And that's one thing about our veteran nonprofit that we just officially started in March. I do not want to step into the realm where other organizations. I don't want to reinvent the wheel and like start up car shows or start up concerts or start up outdoor activities and stuff for veterans. I just want to target something that not a lot of people go into, and that's why
Mhm.
I wanted to keep pushing this annual Pacific Island Veterans Day dinner, and hopefully I'll hold more free dinners for veterans in the future. And what I can do is support organizations who are running activities and outreach programs instead of stepping into that realm myself. So, what kind of support do you need from the community in order for Mortal Triumph to thrive?
I think reach and just it goes into the networking piece for sure. But I think reach is very important for any small business, especially a veteran small business, because veterans are always down to support other veterans. It's just a matter of just knowing that there's businesses out there that you can support. Especially when a product is tailored, for you, with a message that resonates with you, that you know something about. The best way for the community to really help Mortal Triumph is to visit our social media, visit our sites, peruse through our products, see if they resonate with something, and if they don't, maybe share it with someone that would, because like I said, these messages, they're very hard messages on a very soft shirt, and we curated it that way because a lot of vets, a lot of people are going through hard times, and sometimes just feeling like they can resonate with the message, that they're being heard. They can wear something that actually represents how they're feeling. I think that's a huge plus, and I know it's gotten me through a lot of negative parts of my life.
Well, what are your plans for your business in the future? Are you planning on opening a retail brick and mortar, or are you still gonna be online, or just any plans that you can disclose?
Sure. I really like that you touched on the not doing the similar things that all these other organizations are doing. Not the events or the luncheons or whatever. Trying to do something different, right? And I think in the way that Mortal Triumph is headed, we want to really establish ourselves as an apparel brand. Specifically with the EOD community, but also create one of one garments that can be auctioned off, for example, at the EOD Warrior Foundation or something, or at these veteran auctions, and that could really be something that Mortal Triumph really shines in, because not only are we supporting a good cause, but you get these really curated personal pieces that are only going to be created once. So that's something that we've been working on. We have technical specifications for some garments that we're creating, and we're working with a designer, just trying to finish those off. But it's, I gotta say, I'm not really, I'm not really the most artistic guy, so that's where the interdependency comes in, right? I gotta rely on my wife and other people to really tell me, hey, this might not work, or hey, this might look good. You know, it's really more about the message more than anything. I'm not very fashion forward by any means, but I think the message is unique and the message resonates really well. So I think it can work out if we do these one of one, collections or pieces.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, what aspects as a business owner do you enjoy?
My wife seems to think that I enjoy just being busy all the time and doing, just working all the time. But I think being able to kind of create something and then just seeing it through, to the end is really fun. Most people talk about doing something, and the, like when I decided to start, this. It was my first day at a corporate job, and I literally walked in to the office, and I looked around, and it was a cubicle farm, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start a business. like my first hour at my new job when I left the military. So I was like, okay, and you know that's fun. You have, it's all on you. And you have to start it from the beginning, from scratch. You have to make it happen because you told yourself you would. So, I see this as a challenge. I see this as a very rewarding challenge. I see this as a passion project. This is healing for me. This, has a, potential to maybe bring in some income, but also help a lot of people, highlight people that are going through maybe more difficult situations that I'm going through. So I just think overall it's a very, very positive thing to do. And I think that's what I find the most rewarding.
Now, here on Behind the Lava Lava, we like to ask our guests if they have any advice or any questions for us. Do you?
I mean, as far as advice, just keep doing what you're doing, Michael. I love it. When I met you at the veteran networking event, I could tell you had something good going on, and I made sure to network with you. And my question for you, is kind of one of the same questions you gave me, but what made you do what you're doing now?
It's been a long journey. We started the podcast a little over 2 years ago. Started in a gaming lobby, but personally, it was more of an avenue for me to help myself mentally. It's basically mental health. Through podcasting, I'm able to connect and talk about topics with my core close group of friends. But before that, I was seeing a VA therapist. But now I don't see a VA therapist anymore because I don't need it. I podcast and connect with people almost every week. And through that and having conversations, I'm able to find a sense of purpose, to find direction, and just keep myself busy. But it all started mainly because, a group of us, all veterans, were gaming. I pitched the idea to them to start a podcast, and they wanted to support it. And we started a podcast, and now it's down to four of us. It was around 8, 9 of us, but we've been going strong, and I'm thankful for the community support that we've been receiving. And I'm just glad that, because without us starting the podcast over 2 years ago, we wouldn't have started our nonprofit, which
Yep.
which caters to honoring the legacy of all veterans and just celebrating them with one dinner out of the whole year that's free. You'll find that our dinner is free to veterans and their plus one, and that's not common out there. Mainly because for the events on Veterans Day, you have to pay from $50 to a little over a few $100s to even get yourself a seat. But I wanted to bring back that tradition of military balls, and we have cake cutting ceremonies, and I just wanted to bring all the veterans together. It doesn't necessarily have to be Pacific Islanders, but all veterans coming together, and that's a good opportunity to network, get together, dress up, eat free dinner.
Yeah.
It's a buffet, so just watch a little bit entertainment and just have a good time. So that's why I want to keep pushing for more events, keep pushing the podcast, and just promote small businesses like yours, because I ever since I picked up podcasting, I understand the struggles of a business owner, because I sell these watches. They're very expensive luxury watches called Matai. And I understand the struggles of a small business owners trying to promote, trying to get your inventory and sell at events. So that's some of the reasons why I started this.
Yeah. Well, I could tell that, the hard work is paying off, and you do a good job. So, veterans like me that are just starting out, we really appreciate it, man. Don't stop.
No, and I appreciate you. Now, do you have any shout outs or any last words?
No, I mean, I wasn't planning on shouting anyone out, but I guess I'll shout out Hill Air Force Base EOD. That's my old unit. Hopefully they're doing well. I don't know what they've been up to. I don't know what kind of shenanigans they've been getting into, but I hope they're staying safe. Hope they're good. And yeah, all my family back in Cali, my brother and my sister. What's up? But yeah, that's it.
And I'll save you. I'll save you a little bit of trouble. Shout out your wife.
Oh, she's upstairs. I don't have to shout her out.
But where can people find you on social media if they want to connect with you?
Sure. So the social media handle for my Instagram is Mortal Triumph Official. Our website is mortaltriumph.com, and we are also on Facebook. If you Google Mortal Triumph, we're the first thing that pops up. So.
No, Eddie, I want to thank you again for the opportunity to chop it up on Behind the Lava Lava and telling us about you and your story and Mortal Triumph. I really appreciate you just coming on here and just sharing with us, and just keep going. That's all I can say, because you're everything that we learn as a business owner. We make mistakes and we learn from them. Yeah. I don't know what other advice to give you.
I mean, that's pretty good advice, man.
Yeah, but really appreciate you. So
yeah, thanks, man.
To our listeners, thank you for tuning into this episode of Behind the Lava Lava. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow Behind the Lava Lava. Drop a comment and leave a review. Make sure you also follow Mortal Triumph on their social media. So this is Michael Tan signing off. Tofa Suifua.
Working on my interests, it's who I am. I'm trying to make these digits look like EINs. When the help ain't free, you all help me. Salute to folks who turn their names to LLCs. The wealth is in itself to help a non-profit. To be better women or better men, whether business by veterans or common folks with a dream. We're all born with the same strength. We tread waters that were untouched. Let's be on the same wavelength. Behind the lava, front of our eyes. Let our legacy live off it when we're up in the sky. All signs point to us to help someone make a difference. With God as my witness, cause talk business.